Okay, so I'm ready to start planting the big pot, and I topped it off with the soil so it's pretty flat. So basically, I don't want to come back and have to add more soil, because if I do, with all the plants in it, I'll be using like a teaspoon. So I'm just going to make sure there's plenty of soil in it to start with. All right, so I'm going to I separated some of these, so I want to start with the biggest stems, the longest stems, right? And I'm going to put in these. These get tall, so I'm going to start with these. The flower may or may not live in this one, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. All right, so I'm going to put, especially, I want to have almost 3 in the center. This is going to be down a little deeper. You see the stem is long, but I'm going to stick it down in there. So I want the middle to be a little bit taller. All right, here's the yellow, that yellow piece. So I'm going to make sure, giving everything a fresh cut just so it starts to absorb water a little bit better. I'm just going to put maybe 3 in here, just to have a little variety of color and have them clump together. Okay, then I've got this great big one that I just cut off, fresh cut. Okay, now I'm going to stick it over on this side. Okay, now that's pretty tall, but on this pot, since it's the biggest pot and I have 3 different sizes, I'm going to go ahead and leave it tall. I could just as easily trim it down, right? So this one here, I'm going to take off all of these outside ones just to make it a lot tighter, and you can see it already has some babies in there, so I'm just going to stick that down in. Some of these woody stems will just push in. Some of the stems that are really lightweight, like this is very small, that I'm going to take and use my pokey tool just to poke a hole, and then I'll stick it down in there just so I don't break the stem as I'm putting it in. Okay. All right, so I have that nice big colorful one, right? So I want to add more color, right? Here's another one with a tiny stem, which will work fine, but I'll probably use that over here in the shorter pot. So right now I'm working on the bigger pot, so I want to have it taller, right? So here's another one that's a little bit different texture and color. So I'm going to stick it right inside there. Okay, you can see I've got like an inch, because I don't want the actual leaves to sit on top of the dirt, because they will rot the dirt, rot the stem, right? All right, here's a nice pretty colored one. I'm going to stick that in. I'll use my pokey tool on that and just stick it right down in there, right? Make sure this has a nice fresh cut so it will start to absorb the water. All right, now I'm just going to gently stick it down in the hole. Okay, and then I'm using my fingers just to sort of, you know, push it in, because there's room. If I ran out of room for my fingers, I can use my tool and just push the dirt around the stem if there's still a hole visible. Okay. All right, so let's carry on. I've got, oh, this little jade plant. It's a very tiny little plant. I'm going to take off some more leaves, right? I'm going to stick it right down in here. So I'll start with more straight up, and then I'll add the ones around the edge more at an angle so they come out towards the edge. Okay, here's another. Oh, this one is a good filler. You have these. Okay, so some of these will fill in the cracks nicely. So let me just stick this right along the edge. And then I'm going to shove down there, because I don't want it to start out tall, because it's on the outside edge. All right, here's that fuzzy one that your friend has in one of her pots. All right, you can see, I don't know, a bug ate the side. So I'm going to take that one off, and maybe even this one here. And the stem is curved, so I want to make sure I have that as really a straight angle so I can stick it down in there. I'm going to put that over on this side. I like to mix the variety of textures and colors.